Star Citizen 3.8 came out the other week to a lot of acclaim, a lot of further confusion as to where the development of this amazing sandbox is going to go and where it leads us, and an awful lot of frustration in terms of bugs and an equal amount of awe and wow in terms of the graphics capability, in terms of the planets and everything. Now, just to put this out there, I'm not just one of these people that's spouting off about Star Citizen and have never played it. In fact, I've backed it. In fact, backed it twice. Let me explain. When Star Citizen first launched its Kickstarter, I put some money up. And I was happy to do that because the game that was promised was interesting, and I was keen on putting money towards new games that I had a sort of a fondness for in terms of the team that were developing it. So, for instance, I put money up for Elite Dangerous, and I was very glad I did because it's turned out over the years and pretty quickly into an incredible game. And it's fun to play, it's challenging, and it brings back memories of what Elite was. Similar to sort of the reasons for why I wanted to back Star Citizen, because of what had happened before, the memories I have of that, and looking forward to the future as to what I hope to get again. Now we've come many years into from that initial promise, and there's been an awful lot of confusion, bad press, unfair press with Star Citizen, and the reason I backed it twice is because after a while I started to feel very uncomfortable with the fact that they were becoming very much a sort of evangelical money grabbing machine, and I wasn't happy with how that was, and I managed to get a refund. Furthermore, that what you actually got for after many years wasn't an awful lot. So I decided I would get this refund, which I'm probably in the comments going to get a lot of bashing for, but hey. And then I decided to come back in 3.8, and I thought that was a good coming in point because we've seen some huge changes with Star Citizen, an awful lot more promises, but some real fundamental changes. The fact that the planets now look incredible. There's a good, handful of planets that you can land on. There's a good number of missions that you can play, and there's more body to the universe. I say universe, it's more of a system so far of what Star Citizen is, and it gives you something real to play. And I watched a lot of the Star Citizen Con sort of content without the hoopla and all that, to try to steer clear of that kind of thing, and sort of the Apple-ish fandom that was going on. And I liked what I saw. But unfortunately, when it came to playing, what I hoped I would see was another matter. And it's really still, well, it's turned into a beautiful mess, really. It's and to be fair to Star Citizen, Robert Space Industries, or whatever you want to call them, they did say there's some bugs. There's an awful lot of bugs, and it's still very janky. But let's talk about the most obvious change, and that's graphically. If you can land at these planets, and the way that you can land at them is incredible. The vistas that you see and how they've managed to generate that is amazing. That really is an achievement. The question lay whether they can develop that furthermore into more systems and an awful lot more planets. I would imagine they would have to sort of go to a sort of procedural generated element to it. So these planets are generated by this, not by a person, but by some AI that can just dish them out and create systems for them, so it can save a lot of time. That's my hope. Otherwise, we're going to be waiting an awful long time for another system. And this system they have right now, Stanton, I believe. I can't remember if it's called Stanton or that's just the sun in the system. Is still pretty janky, still pretty broken, but it looks incredible. And at least you can fly around and land on planets and look around. And if that's your bag, then great. But you do need to get some money together so you're able to do that, because you don't get any money. You've got so much fuel, which you can use up very quickly, so you've got to get some money together. So when I first started, I refreshed my memory on how these things work and how the flight works and so on. Again, a little bit janky, but it's okay. It doesn't work too well with a controller. It's still predominantly sort of mouse and keyboard, which is okay. So yeah, I got into my aircraft and I immediately got hit by a bug. The thing turned upside down. It yanked all over the landing pad and I was booted out. My ship was taken and impounded, and I was put with about 3 different fines, which are gradually escalating in the game, because it's not just a fixed fine, it's a fine for a number of hours and then it escalates up if you don't pay it. So yesterday I thought, well, I best sort out paying these fines, so I'll do some missions and it'll be fun. I'll get out and do some missions. Eventually got my ship back. And the first mission I did was a delivery mission to pick up some items and then deliver them somewhere else, this sort of UPS sort of type thing. And yeah, started off okay, took off, went to the system, eventually figured out how to get to where I needed to get to, although I could see where I needed to get to. The thing, there was like a bug or something I was being hit with, that the sort of super drive element wasn't spooling where it should be spooling, and so I managed to sort that out. Eventually got to where I needed to get to. Amazing planet. It was like, wow, this is kind of what I signed up for. And then you go in and pick up your parcel, and it's just from a delivery unit that you pick it out of. Sort of collect. I'm collecting a thing, pick it up, and then it was like, how do I get it in my ship? Now I've got the very basic sort of is it Aura MR? I could have that wrong. You'll have to forgive me because I'm not a complete nerd on this. Not yet. So yeah, and I couldn't, like, where do I put this box? So I'll try and take it in. And I'm sort of doing that. Not going in. It's not going in. So I was eventually told, and this is one of the great things about sandboxes like this, the live chat is usually very helpful, and somebody said you have to open the door manually rather than going in normally, and lower the ladder, and then sort of try and jump in with the box, with your item you have in your arms. So after various attempts at trying to get in, I managed to get in, and then I sat down and flew off to where I needed to go to next. Again, a little bit sort of slightly janky as to how that worked, and exited the planet's atmosphere, found out where I needed to go, and there was a star, and eventually got there. Massive, beautiful Starbase, looked great. I hailed the Starbase as I came closer, and it gave me a landing bay which it lights up. Very easy to land. And I landed, and I thought, right, okay, we're making progress, and we'll go to that entrance. That's very much an entrance. Go through the sort of laser lighty thing, blue thing that sort of delineates between space and sort of a vacuumy sort of midway between that and the Starbase. And nothing was happening. I wasn't being taken up. No doors were opening, and I was stuck on this Starbase that I needed to deliver an item to, and couldn't get in. And I could see windows with things and NPCs and what have you in. Ooh. So I thought, right, I'll get some help, and I asked, and people say, "You sure you landed at the right one? Are you sure you did this? Sure you did that?" It's like, "Yep, yep, yep." Okay, so what I do, I'll leave, come back, left, came back, different landing pad, same result. So there I was, stuck on this space station that I couldn't get into and complete this mission with much less fuel than what I had before. So I tried floating around. You can float around and guide yourself, just without anything. You just jump off the edge and it'll automatically ignite your little star space suit and off you go. Couldn't find a way in. So after about 3 hours of doing that, I gave up. So my rant is, it is beautiful. It's a beautiful mess. It really is. It's still a beautiful mess. So I remember when I first played it, when I first backed it, and it was just kind of, I remember you could just initially just walk around your ship. I can't remember. You could just go into a docking bay and walk around your ship. I'm sure that was the very first thing that you could do. And then eventually they released another one where you could fly around in a kind of weird way and look around a destroyed space station, I think. It was a very small thing that you were ducking between asteroids, and that's all you could do. And it's been about 4 years, maybe more or less, probably more, since I've last played it. And to me, the changes aren't that fundamental. Graphically, yeah, amazing. But we still only have one star system with planets that we can land on now, which apparently we've been able to do for a bit, albeit they look amazing. And missions that are really janky, don't work particularly well. And if you have missions that require sort of delivery elements and things like that, at least make it very easy to get that delivered or item you need to deliver into your ship. You would think that would be one of the first things. So there's still a lot that is very sort of irritating about Star Citizen, and still a lot that it should be praised for. So this time, we'll stick around. We'll see what happens. But I can kind of understand the hype around it. And my main concern, this is one from probably for another video in terms of its financials and its progress and where it's going to be. But my feeling for this game in terms of how they're sort of developing the currency, the internal currency and the fine systems, and everything needs to be purchased, as it does in real life, of course. But I've got a horrible hunch, horrible feeling that it's going to be one of those free-to-play games in a few years. I can't see them being able to push this out and then people willing to say, yeah, I'll buy it now. I think it's probably going to go, they'll look to people to buy it, and then it will go after a year of that into a free-to-play, and those that have invested in it will get some chunk of change or something. But my feeling is that they're looking at the long term and making this a free-to-play. Just how the whole currency system seems to be working, there's so many points of entry into the game where very soon you would need to sort of give it money. I can see how that would happen. So yeah, we'll see. This is just my initial impressions. I'm sure people are probably going to slam me a little bit for this because there's a very vocal, very very outspoken Star Citizen group of people, fan base and so on. That's fine. I don't mind. Say what you want. But this is just my opinion. Don't hate me for it. But I think it's a valid opinion on terms of what I've experienced. And also, if somebody could tell me how I can get rid of these fines. Is there a way I can actually get rid of these fines without having to do all these missions and I can just start again? Because, it's not the game proper, is it? And it was a bug after all. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on Star Citizen. Are you a backer? Do you feel happy with what you've seen so far? Are you happy with the progress? Are you happy with how it's run? Or are you someone like me that's more distant, that has backed it and has come back? Let me know your thoughts. I know this video is quite long and it's a bit ranty, but yeah, I think those are my experiences. It's a beautiful, beautiful mess. If you've not subscribed, please do. That would be very, very good of you. Thank you very much. Give me a thumbs up if you feel like it. And of course, if you have subscribed, don't forget to click the bell, because you will not hear from me, which a lot of people are going, oh, thank God, thank God. If I don't see you before, have a lovely new year, and I'll see you next time. Take care.